There's a lot of news recently about the impact Title IX is having on high school athletics. Pacific Legal Foundation, along with the American Sports Council, has been following these stories with interest. One of these stories is that the Federal Office of Civil Rights is currently investigating over 100 Washington school districts, and another is how high schools in Portland are being forced to eliminate separate booster clubs for its high school sports teams.
You might just be asking yourself, with all these news accounts, just what's going on here. You see, Title IX of the Civil Rights Act makes it unlawful to discriminate against women in the provision of educational services. And one provision of the law also makes it unlawful to discriminate with respect to athletic programs. I should point out here that historically, Title IX has been very important in promoting opportunities for young women to engage in athletic competition. This has been a really positive development, and it's a good thing that the law has done. And we can see that by the high numbers of young women who participate in and excel in competitive sports today. But Title IX is not without its problems, and one of those problems is how Title IX is interpreted and enforced.
The Office of Civil Rights adopted regulations that essentially force schools to adopt a strict quota system. Under this system, if a school has 55% female enrollment, the school can prove compliance with Title IX by making sure that exactly 55% of all its athletic participants are females. At Pacific Legal Foundation, we do not believe that the law requires, or was ever intended to require, sex-based quotas. Even more, the law itself specifically refers to intercollegiate sports, that is college sports, not high school sports. However, the Office of Civil Rights and certain special interest groups are now pressuring high schools across the country to adopt a strict quota system by threatening these cash-strapped school districts with expensive legal action.
We believe that it's important to promote participation for all young people to engage in sports. But the reality is that this latest push to impose quotas on high schools is not likely to increase opportunities for young women to engage in sports, but only to decrease opportunities for young men. You see, for whatever reason, schools have a difficult time, and they've shown this time and again, they have a difficult time encouraging enough young girls to participate in sports to meet these quotas. And the end result is that these schools end up cutting programs for boys. And if you think about it, in these times when schools and school districts are facing budget cuts, the only option for them is not to expand programs, but to cut the existing programs. And that means that instead of this quota being imposed on high schools helping young girls, it's only going to hurt young men.
Pacific Legal Foundation is filing suit against the United States Department of Education, seeking an injunction to prevent the Office of Civil Rights from applying its quota regulation to high schools. Civil rights laws should be about achieving equality under the law so that young men and women have the opportunity to choose their own paths. Civil rights are not about forcing men and women to conform their lives to what the government wants. If you would like to find out more about the case, go to pacificlegal.org.